Moving on to the next ROS talk, we have Sanjana from Virtus Innovation Labs, and she'd be speaking about simulation-based IDE for ROS development. That's Rigit.io.
Hello everyone, I'm Sanjana from Virtus Innovation Labs, and today we'll be building a ROS robot like a mobile app. So to tell you a bit about us, we set out on this journey about a year ago, and we wanted to build a semi-humanoid robot. And as soon as we started building it, we faced a bunch of challenges. And honestly speaking, it motivated us because we truly believe AI and robotics is going to create the next set of abundance in the society. And it made us think, how can we solve it? We believed that software would be something for us to start off with. And that is how we came up with Rigit.io, an IDE to build robot using ROS. So what are we going to do today? We are going to build and design and develop a two-wheel differential drive robot and deploy it on a real Raspberry Pi, real robot with just a click of a button, right? And I'm sure everyone in this room can relate to me in this. It isn't as simple as that. There are so many things which happens in the background. You have tons of terminals open, RViz, RQT graph, and things for you to debug and design, right? But we believe it can be seamless. So what do you say? Let us get started? Yes. So how many of you have built a web or mobile app over here? Yeah, so I'm sure you can see this building blocks over there. You have the design, business logic, then you have development environment and a production environment. We are going to use this framework to see how we can build a robot using Rigit. And let us keep this forward as a framework, and we'll explore how our ROS architecture can help us with it. So coming to the design of the robot, URDF. How many of you have faced challenges while updating a URDF and seeing it reflect in RViz? You had to, yeah, exactly. You had to close a terminal, do a Qualcomm build, and see it reflect. But it's supposed to be as seamless as opening your workspace, changing it, and control save. You have a preview which opens up as soon as you open your URDF file. And it's going to get reflected over here, and that gets trickled down over the layers for your robot. And today, if you would have, past 2 days, if you would have observed, you can see all the robotic arms, all the rovers look the same. Imagine if we have designers in robots, designing robots. The way we have futuristic cars getting designed, we'll have futuristic robots getting designed. And this will really help because ROS has built a really good building blocks for us to build on top of. So moving forward, we have this basic fundamental concept based on which the entire data flow happens in ROS, which is topics, nodes, and services. And to give you a very brief analogy about it, topics is like, a group chat, which all of us are a part of, and I send a message, and anyone who is part of the group can read it. It's that. And node is somewhat like the members of the group. Some can read, some can just write messages, and some have the permission to do both. That's publisher, subscriber, and nodes for you. Coming to services, it's like sending that private message to a specific member in the group. And basically, this is the entire flow of data which happens in ROS. And using the previous framework I had mentioned, you have a design node which has Zacro files, right? You have multiple split up Zacro files which you can process into a single URDF file. And based on that, you get your robot description and the state of the robot. So that becomes your output topic from a robot state publisher. And you have URDF data as well as joint transform. Joint transform says the state of the robot, and robot description describes how your robot, what's the design of the robot. And coming to, since we are building a two-wheel differential drive robot, the controller node will have differential drive controller as well as joint state broadcaster. We are using ROS2 controller over here for us to convert the velocity to topics, and as well as you can add in your encoder values and the motor RPMs into your ROS control param files, and it is how it's going to convert into command velocity unstamped topic and dynamic joint states and joint states. So as I mentioned, this becomes the major foundation on top of which we can build. You can add Lego pieces on top of it, like simulation, digital twin, or a real robot. But at the end, this becomes your basic framework of how the entire data is getting transmitted from the very base layer of URDF, which is your essence of the robot, to the data of how it's functioning, how it is getting updated. So yeah, and now coming to the simulation engine. As I mentioned, the last block becomes a simulation engine. The topic, which is command velocity, gives us linear and angular velocity. And that gets feeded into our embedded PyBullet simulator, and we get back the updated joint states back from the PyBullet. And that gets, again, trickled down over to our design, and it gets reflected in the visualizer. So we want this entire, again, this is another pain point for all of us as a developer, as an engineer who is trying to deploy a robot into production. So it's going to be like this. The entire flow is going to be like this. You select your launch files, which is going to get automatically detected from your workspace, and you select, do you want to run it on your simulator or any other plugin which you want to add on, and click on the run button. Voila. It can happen in a window, guys. And I'm sorry about that. Yeah, it can happen in a window. And you have a physics engine running, you have a terminal with RQT graph and topic logger. This, as a very initial developer who's starting off with ROS, and you want to figure out why your robot is not moving, and you go back and debug, where is this data coming from? And that is how you get to know about topics. And that is how you get to know there is something called ROS echo command and RQT graph where you can see all this data. And instead of that, this becomes a very good intro for you to, get started with it. So your physics engine is going to behave similar to the one which you use, Gazebo, and you can also embed your own simulator. And terminal is where you can add your own kind of logs, whatever you want to add to debug, to show and see the state of the robot. And coming to the teleoperation window, that can be added into your launch files, the kind of plugins you want to add. It can be different for a robotic arm. It can be different for a differential drive. You can add that window over here in your launch files. And since it is just click of a button, it all opens up together. Now coming to the debugging part. Remember the ROS topic logs which you see of those numbers which feels like matrix just flying in front of your eyes? And if you want to, filter out the one topic which you want to debug, you have to run multiple terminals with multiple echo, topic echo. Here you can see all the listed topics, and you can filter it out. You can debug it. And yeah, you can filter it out, debug it, and see where you're facing issues. Coming to RQT graph, it felt very essential to add this visualizer for us because it helps us understand the basic fundamental concept which I started off with, the topic, node, and services. This is where it all gets visualized. This is where you can distinguish between a node and a publisher. You can see the messages getting transferred from multiple nodes through these topics. And you'll be able to debug in terms of which is your publisher and which is your subscriber, and where does the data flow actually starts off from. So it became essential for us to add RQT graph. There are multiple other debugging tools which we are planning to add in terms like tracers and stuff like that. And now coming to running it on a real robot. And we imagined this flow, which was to get your Raspberry Pi booted up, connected to your Wi-Fi, have all your ROS dependencies ready. And once you launch your IDE, you should be able to see all the Raspberry Pis or all the devices in your network and be able to select and run on it. Imagine this deployment in your robots of multiple, in a room, or you have it across different states. This is where we have also added Xeno, as Angelo had explained. You can add in your IP, you can connect to it, and as well as connect it, run it on your existing devices connected to your Wi-Fi. And yeah, and this is the flow this is how the flow will look like. You can select it. This is the Raspberry Pi I have connected right now to my local hotspot, and it's getting listed over in my ID. I'm going to select it, and I have my launch file already selected, and click on the run button. You have a digital twin, which shows the update of a robot which might not be in front of you, and you are able to see and visualize it from anywhere in the room or from across state and things like that. And also be able to debug in RQT graph and loggers. You'll be able to teleoperate it. Given the time constraint, we didn't do the entire setup right now, but we will see it happening. I literally did the entire flow, and I have it ready. And let us see it working. I'm pressing the forward button, and let's move it backward, left, and right. So this entire flow took us about, once you have the entire controller logic ready, the entire flow took us about a day to get it ready. And so this is what we want to do, make building robots seamless and simple. ROS became a very good backend for us. I was speaking to Jeffrey yesterday, and we were speaking about, how can we make it simple? And, why is updating URDF such a pain? He's like, URDF was never supposed to be written by humans. It was supposed to be generated. And this is where we all come into picture. And we need to visualize it something different, a bit more seamless, and a bit more easy for all of us to develop hundreds of robots and deploy it into the real world. These are the features which we basically wanted to resolve using Rigit. Make the entire ROS setup easy, and have the preview, URDF preview, and have the real-time feedback, as well as the RQT graph, the visualizer, and all the debugging tool in a platform for you to see, observe, and debug. And a terminal which you don't have to, switch for you to teleoperate. So yes, it's going to be open source. It will give us a lot of joy to see you guys build on top of it and build beautiful robots along with us. Robots which will actually be used in real worlds because you don't have to take care of these initial builds and use Rigid for that. Join us. You can join our Discord server. Tell us what you're building. Give us an active feedback so that we can build. And we'll have the open source link out soon once we have the beta version ready. And we have it ready. You can join our Discord community and be the early users of it and help us refine it much more better for everyone to use. Thank you so much.